much money into fossil fuels in Africa than renewables over the past 5 years. This project is just one example, as Fanny Facha reports.
We receive rare access to this gigantic construction site near Lagos City. The man behind it, Aliko Dangote, estimated worth $14.1 billion. On the construction site, a beehive of people reporting to various international contractors. China is one of them. The space below this crane offers brief respite from the burning sun. Thousands are working here. It's easy to get lost without temporary street names.
This is one of the biggest construction sites around the world today, and tomorrow this is supposed to be the location of the biggest oil refinery in the world. But is it sustainable?
Dangote's goal? To produce refined crude oil so that Nigeria, one of the biggest exporters of crude, does not have to import refined oil anymore. Apkan Ekpo is skeptical. He sees Nigeria's future beyond oil.
I think it would be much better to also invest in alternative energy, because the oil, as you're aware, is no longer that sustainable going forward. There are alternative energy sources that are being developed every day.
At the recent climate summit in Kenya, the World Bank underlined its commitment to end support for oil and gas. Furthermore, there was key emphasis on Africa's capacity to go green.
How come Germany, who is not so much enjoying sunshine, could have 7% of their installed electricity capacity to come from solar, and in Africa, this capacity to be 1.5%. How come?
According to an international research project which TW was part of, the World Bank has invested in a number of fossil fuel projects in Africa. These include financial intermediary investment and a $150 million loan to Dangote's refinery project by World Bank's IFC. The World Bank says this loan was, quote, designed to help Nigeria increase the value addition of its natural resources sector, specifically through fertilizers. Apkan says the World Bank should have instead used its investments to empower Nigeria with a stable electricity supply.
The problem I have is that the petroleum industry, for example, is an enclave. It doesn't generate much jobs. And yet in Nigeria we need industries that will create jobs. And this is an enclave.
You find Dangote's name outside the oil refinery too. Sugar, salt, flour, all bear his name. And this man proudly sells Dangote cement. The company has become a monopoly, granted government protection from international competition.
Provide market for those who doesn't have business, like selling cement, Dangote sugar, and other products. And this refinery is putting up, so many people have got employment there.
Some Nigerians want to believe that their lives will change with the oil refinery. But experts point out that once construction is finished, low and medium-skilled jobs there will vanish. And if it does not connect to other industries, it will end up being just another mammoth project supported by a UN organization.
Let's talk to Fanny about her report. She's in Lagos for us. Fanny, isn't it good that Nigeria wants to process its own oil rather than shipping it abroad and buying back processed products?
Well, Ben, that's definitely what you would think of if you look at this project. And this is also the pledge that was made by Mr. Dangote before he started this project, to make Nigeria independent of oil imports. But at this point today, it's completely unclear when this project is actually going to be finished. According to Mr. Dangote, end of next year. According to experts, they point out this refinery is going to be so big, it may take many, many years. And even then, it is very much unclear at this point how the government is actually going to react to it, because at this point, the oil business here in Nigeria is not only a very delicate, but also, unfortunately, a very dirty business. A lot of people benefit from the state control, from the strong grip of the country on oil exports. And the question is whether these people really want to transfer such an important industry into the hand of one company or one man, and to eventually actually make it a monopoly. So there are a lot of question marks around it, why at this point you can't really say, hooray, Mr. Dangote really is going to pan out with this plan, but rather at this point it's a huge gamble. Nobody now knows if it is going to work out.
What about locals? What do they think about it? Because surely they'd be rejoicing about the fact that there'll be lots of jobs. We're talking about the biggest of its kind in the world.
A lot of people that I've met on this construction site are rejoicing already. There are about 7,000 of them right now at this construction site who are working in low and medium skilled positions. However, experts once again point out, and also according to our research, what we found out that all these jobs are going to vanish once and should this oil refinery be completed. In fact, as we are talking right now, hundreds of jobs, hundreds of people are being trained outside of Nigeria for highly skilled positions like engineering and technical jobs. So that's what's going to be the emphasis upon, and not on the low and medium skilled jobs. And then, of course, there are also concerns about the environmental effects that this refinery could have, something that I've seen with my own eyes when I was in the Niger Delta just a couple of weeks ago, a main hub of oil production in Nigeria, which led that production of oil leads to environmental pollution, to basically fishermen not being able to fish because rivers and lakes are being polluted. So some people you talk to are very much overjoyed by this endeavor. Others are very much concerned, Ben.
So tell me, why is the World Bank telling Africa to go green and yet backing this project?
Well, the World Bank actually told us upon our request that they are actually going green, and we should look at the number of from 2018. They say they've invested in renewable projects around $20 billion, and they have disputed the findings of this research group that DW has been part of. They have named projects, for example, like distributing LED lights in India to prove the fact that they're very much focusing on renewable energies. Now, nobody is disputing, of course, that the World Bank has projects which are very much particularly designed about going green. But the fact is also that if you look and zoom into Africa, so far, the number of investing into non-renewable projects, into fossil fuel projects, is double as high as going into green projects.
Fani Vacha for us there in Lagos. Thank you very much.